In 2011, we had about 10 employees. So to put that in perspective, we've got about 45 today. And so we've had pretty rapid growth over those 9 years. And he came to me at that point and wanted to take things a little more serious and said, how do we light the world on fire? How do we get after this? And I'm looking at population 10 going, okay, like I'm excited with what you're telling me, but all I can think in the back of my mind is I'm increasing my own price tag if I ever want to take this over. And so we had some really good, honest conversations, brought in some business coaching and some, legal experts and financial experts to kind of help us talk through succession on death and what that looks like and why that's important for both of us. If something happens to me, what does that look like for him? And having those hard conversations that seem like you don't have time to have, or they're uncomfortable or don't want to have. But it was very important for us to, first and foremost, let's take care of the families that have put their weight in us and make sure that we can communicate back to them, back to each other on what our plan is if something were to happen from a death stance. From there, we kind of looked at, what does this look like? Okay, so you do want to have some stake in the game. You do want to take this over and buy me out at some point. And so we put together a deal where every single year I'm acquiring a little more of the business. We've talked in certain years on maybe accelerating that, and other years, it's like, well, let's just keep our plan in place. But there is a plan that we can communicate and be very transparent with everybody on the team. Every industry is being disrupted right now. And I think it's really difficult when you look at some companies that have been around for maybe 150 years and they're on 4th generation. But maybe that generation is like, I don't see the value. Like, my kids want to be doctors, or they don't want to do technology or whatnot. What does that mean for the organization? It probably means that they're going to position that organization to sell, or potentially merge, or to look at an ESOP. But there's going to be a lot of change, and it's not necessarily up to those employees whenever they're signing on to be part of that. And so for us, there's been a lot of companies that have been bought out over the last handful of years, and disrupted what people thought they were working for 25 years. So it's been a recruiting aspect or element for us, because people understand Mike is going to retire at some point, but Chelsey is absolutely 100% interested in continuing acquiring or buying him out. And I think everyone just having known, we're a firm believer of, if there's a void, you're going to fill it with whatever you want to, which is usually scarier than bad news. And so it's helped us just communicate, here's a vision, here's a plan. And then it also kind of keeps us focused on how he can retire when he wants to. So he keeps saying he wants to, but he wants to stay in the business. We go back and forth a lot.